They're sticking together like long-lost friends, but playing like anything but. They're the AFC East with a three-way tie for the lead. The AFC Central is a two-way tussle, an impressive afternoon in a chilly San Diego for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Bo was back, but not for long in Kansas City. Ralph and JBC swapping addresses, a major deal in the NBA, while the high-scoring Flames bring their act to the odd in Buffalo. And it was white knuckle time at the Chrysler Team Championships. All straight ahead on SportsCenter. And welcome again to the ESPN SportsCenter, along with John Saunders. I'm Bob Lee, and I guess if Santa was handing out some early presents to football fans, among them is the race in the AFC East, because everybody has a shot.
Yeah, but this time they're picking out how big their turkey will be and thinking about how bad a turkey their team usually is. Mid-December in Buffalo and Indianapolis usually mean just two things. Christmas is 2 weeks away, and so is the end of the football season. But this year, Santa is taking a back seat in the city of AFC East doormats. This year, first place is still up for grabs, and the Colts and the Bills are grabbing for it. They would face each other today. Capacity crowd in the Hoosier Dome. The fans showed up, but it didn't look like the Colts did. Jim Kelly, a good game, threads the needle between two defenders. Ronnie Harmon comes up with a great catch in the end zone for the touchdown. 7-0 Bills. Colts could not run the ball. Eric Dickerson had a terrible day today. Shane Conlon finds his way through. Guess him, Dickerson, only 19 yards rushing. Trouble at quarterback as well. Third-string quarterback Sean Salisbury learns the NFL the hard way. And then Kelly here drops back, tosses this one to Tremaine Johnson for the touchdown. Salisbury drops back into the end zone here, and Bruce Smith comes in untouched, grabs the football for the touchdown, and the Bills can celebrate with a little end zone boogie. 27-3, Buffalo beats Indianapolis. Jim Kelly has touchdown passes in 18 consecutive games. The Bills, the Colts, and the Dolphins all 7-6 atop the AFC East.
I think, as a team defense, I think we should get an A for this effort because we stopped them. When offense turned the ball over a couple of times and we went in and stopped them and, held them to a field goal win. I think, in times in the past that it really resulted in a touchdown. So I think we should get a big pat on our back.
The coaches thought we could run on the football this team very well. But coming to this game, I told them, man, any team that I play against, they can have the worst record in the world against the rush. But when they play against me, they play phenomenal.
Eric Dickerson just 19 yards rushing today. That's the lowest total he's ever had in his career. The Colts, in fact, had so little on offense today, they did not convert a third down attempt and turned the ball over 6 times.
Well, the New England Patriots are near the top of that mob at the top of the AFC East, and the reason today was simple. Steve Grogan, he ran the ball club today against the New York Jets. Grogan has missed the last 3 weeks with neck and shoulder problems, but historically, he has killed the Jets, and today was another chapter in that history. And speaking of history, it was Steve Nelson's last game for the Patriots at home. He was the only Patriot introduced in the pregame ceremony. Steve Grogan back at the helm to Cedric Jones. He threw 4 touchdown passes today. Grogan on his career is 11-5 against the Jets. And 6 times against the Jets, he has thrown for 3 or more touchdowns, 11 of 18 in the air. And Steve Grogan on the ground. It was that kind of a day for Grogan. A lot of emotion in the air today, not for Joe Walton. And by the end of the third quarter, they were heading out Foxborough Stadium to get home in time to see prime time. 42-20 was the final score. 4 TD passes for Grogan, the most since he had 5 against whom else? The Jets. 8 years ago, both these teams are now 6-7. The Dolphins are a 7-6 team. Dan Marino made like a Ginsu knife on the Eagles' pass defense. It's the worst in football. The final was 28-10. Marino, 3 TDs, 376 yards. His 25th 3 TD game. It ties him with Sonny Jurgensen for 3rd place on the all-time 300-yard list. The Dolphins have to win the division to get a playoff berth. The Dallas meltdown continued today. Jack Kent Cook's team already had clinched the division last week, and they pounded it home today. Jay Schrader hooking up with Gary Clark. 56 yards this time. Clark had 9 receptions today, 187 yards, his 5th 100-yard game. Skins took a 17-3 lead. They did it mostly in the air, and a couple of times George Rogers punched it over on the ground. Cowboys made it close down the stretch, but the Skins by 4. There was a late brawl in this game, but Dexter Manley had said the Skins wanted to, quote, kick the Cowboys while they were down. They did it today. You know, you throw out the strike games, and Dallas has lost 14 of their last 18. They're on their way to their second straight losing year. The Cardinals have a statistical shot still at a wild card. They took the early lead, held on to beat the Giants by 3. 2 long kick returns by Visekahema, 1 for 76 yards and a TD. Less than 30,000 watching what could be the last game for the Cards in St. Louis. And St. Louis with the victory over the Giants for the first time on their last 6 meetings.
In San Diego, the Chargers still trying to regain the touch that got them off to an 8-1 start. Since then, the Chargers haven't won, and the Pittsburgh Steelers, fighting for the lead in the AFC Central, were looking to make it 4 consecutive losses for the Chargers. And they did just that. Very chilly afternoon for Charger fans. Wind chill was down around 35 degrees. Vince Glenn here races in untouched and blocks this punt. David Brandon then falls on the ball, and it's touchdown Chargers, 7-0. They have the lead in the first quarter. Second quarter, they're up 9-0. But Lionel James cannot control this punt. Looks like the ball's greased up. Dwight Stone hits him, and the Steelers recover at the San Diego 39. Frank Pollard gets a key block from Ray Pinney and scores from the 8, 9-7 at halftime. Third quarter, Steelers in Charger territory. Mark Malone, under pressure from Joe Phillips, runs to his right and decides to take it all the way into the end zone for the touchdown, 14-9 Pittsburgh. They had 2 field goals and go on to win it by a count of 20-16. Steelers are now 8-5 and tied with Cleveland in the AFC Central. Now, Houston entered the day tied for the lead as well, and they were in New Orleans. Next year has arrived, in fact, for the Saints. Bobby Hebert beats the blitz and hits leaping Eric Martin, who turns and burns down the sidelines, 54 yards for the touchdown, 7-0 Saints. Second quarter, Oilers in punt formation. Once again, special teams do it for the Saints. Van Jakes and Michael Adams with the penetration. Adams blocks it. Gossett picks it up, or rather Gossett's kick, and Saints on the ball at the 7. Hebert with a short drop. Martin for his second touchdown, 14-0 Saints. Martin with 6 receptions for 130 yards. Late in the half, 14-3 Saints. Hebert is working the clock. 1:03 left. Hebert caps off the drive, 26 yards to Lionel Hill. And Hebert, 15 of 27 for 254 yards as Lonzel Hill hauled in that touchdown. 24-10 is the final. The Saints pick up the win. Hebert had 3 touchdown passes in the game. The Saints, of course, still in the running for the NFC West title. 10 wins equals San Francisco. Of course, San Francisco plays Monday night against the Bears. The Battle of Ohio, as the Browns tried to stay with the Steelers by beating the Bengals, and they did just that. 38-24 is the final. Bernie Kosar, career-high 4 touchdown passes. The Bengals now fall to 4-9, and the Browns are 8-5, tied with the Steelers atop the AFC Central.
What kind of a season has it been for the Kansas City Chiefs? Well, today they got their largest December home crowd in 14 years. 63,000 fans, most of them showing up to boo an opposing player who makes his living across the parking lot during the warm weather in Kansas City. Bo Jackson's homecoming. It was the pregame headline, but it became a sidebar rather quickly in the Chiefs-Raiders game. He came back to KC, but an injury in the first quarter sidelining him for just about the entire game. Dean Moraldi, number 64 for the Raiders, falls on Bo's left ankle right there. The x-rays showing no serious damage, but a couple of carries and 1 small pass reception, 5 yards, and Bo was a spectator. Yeah, a lot of emotion in the air today. 187 yards and penalties dished out, and of course the Raiders and the Chiefs reliving those golden years. Raiders were penalized for most of those yards. Bill Kenny here, 67 yards up top to Carlos Carson, beating Ron Fellows. Today, it was a nice day for Carson. 4 receptions, 142 yards. Tack on a couple of Nick Lowry field goals, and the Chiefs win one, only their 3rd of the year, 16-10. And I don't think you need me to tell you this, but this eliminates all hopes of the Raiders statistically going on to the playoffs. 100, they counted, and somebody took it in. 100 anti-Bo Jackson banners today at the game. The Vikings continuing to have their problems today against the Packers, but the Packer backers were prepared. Tommy Kramer only threw 9 passes before he left with a pinched nerve, but here he goes to Anthony Carter, his 7th TD catch of the year, and the Vikings take a 7-0 lead. Randy Wright coming back, bringing the pack right back. Wright was 18 of 31 today for 192 yards. He finds tight end Ed West, who beats the linebacker coverage, 41 yards on the reception. The Packers in scoring position.
Started when I first came to Atlanta. Anytime that there's a contract problem or I'm a free agent or something like that, it involves money, rumors and innuendos start flying, and I don't know where they start.